वो होस्ट वाला पासवर्ड देखो, राइट दे।
ओके, आप बात करिए। हेलो, आप बात करिए।
गुड मॉर्निंग, बंद कर दिया। ठीक है, शेयर स्क्रीन इसको हम इस तरह कर देंगे। हेलो, जब वो करेंगे लाइव, अदरवाइज तो हमें इसकी जरूरत पड़ेगी, अपना बैकएंड में काम करता रहेगा। यहाँ पे हमारा ये लग जाएगा पोस्टर
तो बोलने के लिए ना, इसमें YouTube का भी आया है।
नहीं, अभी कुछ शेयर नहीं होगा। ये वाले स्क्रीन हम शेयर कर देंगे, स्क्रीन शेयर कर दीजिए। यस, हेलो IMS अभी जा रहा है।
हेलो हेलो, क्या सुन पा रहे हैं मैं?
हेलो, सीक्वेंस सब बता दो एक बार। शेयर क्या किया? ये स्क्रीन शेयर हो गया, हमारा वीडियो जा रहा है यहाँ से छोटा सा साइड में, और ये स्क्रीन पे जो भी चलेगा वो, हाँ ये जा रहा है, हमारा वीडियो जा रहा है। वीडियो ऑफ किया हुआ है, जो भी देख पाएगा यही देख। हाँ ये
चलिए, जो भी है उनकी तरफ से ही है, हमारा तो रेडी है। ये तो लगा रहेगा, 3 आएंगे। हेलो हेलो, आपको हमारी आवाज सुनाई दे रही है सर? हेलो हेलो हेलो,
यस सर,
आप आवाज सुनाई दे रही है हमारी आपको?
हाँ जी सर, आपकी आवाज क्लियर आ रही है। हेलो, हेलो,
सर वो वहीं से करते हैं, हमारा नहीं है, ये हो जाएगा।
वो समझ गया, कितना साफ है, खाली दे दी। हेलो, आर्मी आगे बोलो।
कह रहे हैं यहाँ पे कोई आएगा कि नहीं?
तो वहाँ फुल हो जाएगा तब आएंगे ना।
अच्छा, फुल हो जाएगा तब।
आराम से बैठो। कहाँ पे हो रहा है? दो जगह में भी होगा और कम में भी।
प्रोग्रामर है क्या? नहीं, हमारा तो ऑन है, ये हमारे यहाँ पर है। आवाज जा रही, देखिए हम बोल रहे हैं तो आवाज जा रही है।
सर कैसे अभी तो मैं डायरी में हूँ ना, देखने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ अभी थोड़ी देर बनारस से तो चल के आ गए। अभी थोड़ी देर
क्या बोलना है, क्या बोलना है? हेलो हेलो, मैं मीटिंग करना है।
हेलो
हाँ है क्या, आ नहीं रहा ना। हाँ हाँ, हमको नहीं बोला ना, बोले ये स्पीकिंग नहीं, लर्न मीटिंग क्या है, लीव मीटिंग क्या मीटिंग करनी है, और ये बता दे इसको। हाँ
लोग आ रहे हैं आने से क्या
आप बोलेंगे तो आपके उसमें चले जाएंगे। सर हेलो डॉक्यूमेंट आप पे है। हेलो फोटो आ रहा है।
फिर से
उन लोगों ने शेयर किए ना 50 उन लोगों ने शेयर किया तो ऑप्शन के बाद सॉल्व कर रहे हैं आप नहीं कर सकते परमिशन देंगे तब जब वो परमिशन देंगे तब जाके अपनी पीपीटी शेयर आपकी पीपीटी है तो कोई शेयर करेंगे
ये तो सर वो कर रहे हैं, हम तो शेयर तब करेंगे जब वो बोलेंगे।
अभी हमको राइट्स भी नहीं है सर ये राइट है
वो सब कौन से
এটাই আসছে नेटवर्क कनेक्शन इज स्लो या नेटवर्क
एक बार बोल
हेलो हेलो
हेलो
Yes. Hello. Good afternoon. This is Dr. Dwivedi from Am I audible?
बहुत बढ़िया
Okay.
हेलो हेलो हेलो
हेलो
हेलो
हाँ हम सुनाई दे रहे हैं सर आपको, हम दिल्ली से बोल रहे हैं से।
हेलो
हेलो हमारी आवाज आ रही है सर?
हाँ मैं सुन पा रहा हूँ मैं डॉक्टर भट्टाचार्य बोल रहा हूँ
हाँ, good afternoon, Dr. Bhattacharya. This is Dr. Dwivedi here from National Heart. After some time, Dr. Tuli will also be around.
I can't see you
You can't see me. You
No.
can see this.
and I am trying in my laptop which is not getting connected. I think the webmaster has to allow me there.
Yeah, you have to request the webmaster.
तो उससे बोलो क्या कहते हैं हम डॉक्टर एन वर्मा मेरा वीडियो
This is my mobile. I wanted to see in the laptop.
डॉक्टर एन
also.
वर्मा
Yes, yes.
ऑडियो वीडियो ऑन करें स्टार्ट वीडियो पे वहां से भी उन्होंने म्यूट कभी कभी वो कर देते हैं यार
ये आ ही नहीं रहा है।
ये तुम बोलो तुम्हारी आवाज जाएगी
आई एम डॉक्टर ए एन वर्मा।
Hello.
वीडियो स्टार्ट द वीडियो
प्लीज स्टार्ट द वीडियो।
प्रोसीडिंग शुरू हो गई वीडियो जो पसंद की जो वीडियो
हेलो
Now I can see you. Can you see me?
चलो करते हैं कुछ
Hello, can you see me?
नो आई कांट सी यू।
Now?
नो नो नो
निरंतर बाजी नमस्कार। हाँ हेलो। हाँ हेलो, मुझे सुनने नहीं आ रही है। हेलो हेलो। हाँ आई एम ऑडिबल। हाँ मेरी शुरू नहीं हो गई, अभी शुरू नहीं हो फंक्शन।
We are about to begin the program, so we request those in the hall to put your cell phones in silent mode and put off your Wi-Fi to enable smooth telecast of the event. Thank you. A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests.
अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। कार्यक्रम का प्रारंभ सभी के लिए मंगल कामनाओं के साथ आप सभी का बहुत स्वागत, आदर, अभिनंदन, आभार।
We have gathered here today for a very special occasion to mark the birth centenary of Padma Shri Professor K.N. Udupa, the founder director of the Institute of Medical Sciences, Banaras Hindu University. A legendary figure in the making of the Banaras Hindu University, an excellent clinician and a skilled surgeon whose scientific temper and human touch made him greatly loved by all. An alumnus of BHU, he made the largest contribution to the university's development in the post-Malvian era. His outstanding work, and more than that, his human qualities and futuristic vision led him being addressed as a second Malvirji on a number of occasions.
On behalf of Institute of Medical Sciences, I, Dr. Kiran Giri,
and myself, Dr. Tvina Banerjee,
welcome you to the glimpses of priceless memories of the legend Padma Shri Professor K.N. Udupa ji and his junior colleagues in this university. We sincerely hope that you enjoyed this afternoon.
It is my privilege to invite the dignitaries to the dais. Professor Manoj Pandey, Chairman of the Event and Function Committee. Professor H.C. Barnwall, Dean, Faculty of Dental Sciences. Professor A.M. Dwivedi, Dean, Faculty of Ayurveda. Professor S.K. Singh, Dean, Faculty of Modern Medicine. Professor Ashok Kumar, Dean Research, IMS BHU. Professor B.R. Mittal, Director, IMS BHU. And we are immensely delighted to have with us Professor P.K. Shukla, Vice Chancellor, Banaras Hindu University. Thank you, sir. With a multifaceted personality, Bharat Ratna, Mahamana Madan Mohan Malviya, the founder of this university, was a great patriot, an educationist, a social reformer, and an outstanding statesman. Another legendary figure in the making of Banaras Hindu University, probably number one after Mahavanaji, is Professor K.N. Udupa. To pay homage, I request all the dignitaries on the dais to garland the photographs of the great visionaries, Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya ji and Professor K.N. Udupa ji. I will also request the representative of the first batch 1960 MBBS, Professor V.P. Singh, former director, rector, and vice chancellor, to pay homage to Malviya ji and Udupa ji.
दीप ज्योति परब्रह्म दीप ज्योति जनार्दनः दीपो हर्तु मे पापम दीप ज्योतिर्नमस्तुते. May I now request our esteemed dignitaries to formally inaugurate the function by illuminating the lamp of knowledge and wisdom. Thank you all for illuminating the lamp. Being an internationally reputed temple of learning, Banaras Hindu University reflects creativity and innovativeness in every aspect. May I now request the team to play our Kul Geet, which is recorded for us by Professor Sangeeta Pandit ji from Faculty of Performing Arts.
जिसके रचयिता हैं सुप्रसिद्ध वैज्ञानिक प्रोफेसर शांति स्वरूप भट्टागर जी और इसे स्वरों से सजाया है सुप्रसिद्ध संगीतज्ञ पंडित ओंकारनाथ ठाकुर जी। मधुर मनोहर अतीव सुंदर ये सर्वदेया मधुर मनोहर अतीव सुंदर ये
Thank you, madam.
प्रस्तुत है विश्वविद्यालय का वीडियो जिसके रचयिता हैं सुप्रसिद्ध वैज्ञानिक प्रोफेसर शांति स्वरूप भट्टागर जी और इसे स्वरों से सजाया है
In this mesmerized environment and in the same tune and melody of our Kulgeet, we will now present potted plants to the dignitaries as a token of respect and affection. I will request Dr. Poonam Pandey, faculty from Nursing College, and our student Aradhna and Swati to do the honors. We will be presenting Orange Jasmine to begin with. Our Vice Chancellor, Sir, Professor V.K. Shukla. To our Director, IMS BHU, Professor B.R. Mittal. Professor S.K. Singh, Dean, Faculty of Modern Medicine. Professor Ashok Kumar, Dean Research, IMS BHU. Professor K.N. Dwivedi, Dean, Faculty of Ayurveda. Professor H.C. Baranwal, Dean, Faculty of Dental Sciences. Professor B.R. Mittal, Director, Institute of Medical Sciences. He's a professor in nuclear medicine and an eminent doctor, an able administrator, and a talented researcher. A man of distinct vision, the Institute under his guidance will definitely reach new heights. I now invite you, sir, to deliver the welcome address.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. Respected Professor B.K. Shuklaji, Vice Chancellor of University, dignitaries on the dais, former Professor Padma Shri Churamani ji, Professor V.P. Singh ji, former Director, Professor Pathi ji, my faculty colleagues in the hall, faculty and guests who have joined us online, persons from the print and electronic media, students, staff, ladies and gentlemen. It's my proud privilege to extend a warm welcome to all of you on this occasion of centenary celebrations. To be precise, under first year birth celebrations of Padma Shri Professor K.N. Udupa ji, the founder of the Institute of Medical Sciences. So as the journey goes, the history of Professor Udupa ji, I searched some literature as I am not associated with this institute. I was not knowing much about Professor Udupa. So searching, I found a lot of interesting stories. Professor Udupa, born in the family of Hindu priests in Karnataka on July 28, 1920. His journey is very fascinating and inspiring. He joined BHU to have his degree in Ayurveda, medicine, surgery, against the wishes of his parents who wanted him to follow the traditions of the family. After completing from here, he went to Mumbai to join the Potter Ayurvedic College. But to learn new things and expand his knowledge and skills, he went to University of Michigan, USA in 1948, from where he completed his degree in surgery. He also earned FRCS from Canada, a remarkable accomplishment for a person not originally trained in modern medicine. After returning from USA, he worked for some time in Himachal Pradesh in the district of Mandi as a surgical specialist and became very popular. However, he again went to USA and worked at School of Medicine, Harvard University at Boston from 1954 to 56. Here he conducted research on wound healing mechanisms. The Udupa Committee under his chairmanship in 1958 suggested reforms in education, practice and research in indigenous system of medicine, which ultimately led to replacement of the ABMS degree by the MBBS and simultaneously starting post-graduation education in Ayurveda. The appointment of Professor Udupa as principal of Ayurvedic College at BHU has another interesting story. By that time, as he was well known in the field of Ayurveda, students of Ayurveda College of BHU demanded that Professor Udupa be made principal of the Ayurveda College. In fact, they went on strike to press their demands. The students' agitation came to the attention of the then Prime Minister of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru ji, who requested Dr. Udupa to join BHU in public interest. This is how Dr. Udupa was appointed in BHU as Professor of Surgery and Principal of the Ayurveda College in 1959. It is due to his vision and efforts the Ayurvedic College was converted into College of Medical Sciences with MBBS starting in 1960 and MD in Ayurveda 1963. In 1972, the College of Medical Sciences was upgraded to the Institute of Medical Sciences and Professor Udupa became the Institute's founder director. Dr. Udupa was not only an able administrator, astute clinician, but was a remarkable researcher also. Among his many achievements, one was establishment of a separate surgical research laboratory in 1960 with good modern biomedical research facilities to cater the needs of researchers equally for both the modern medicine and Ayurveda. This surgical research laboratory was upgraded by University Grants Commission 1981 as Center for Experimental Medicine and Surgery. This laboratory was used by Dr. Udupa for his own research and by his research scholars for their doctoral research. In fact, nuclear medicine from the field which I belong, Dr. Udupa also started nuclear medicine at BHU, and the first paper in India on the use of radioiodine 131 came from Dr. Udupa only. Dr. Udupa also worked as rector, acting vice chancellor of the BHU, as well as he served in WHO as a part-time consultant. He traveled all of the world to promote the Indian vision of healthcare globally. Professor Udupa, a true legend, a great visionary, and a multifaceted personality, led the institute in its formative years. Due to his untiring efforts and farsightedness, IMS achieved glory and eminence at national and international level. Friends, today we have gathered to celebrate his life and journey. On this occasion, we have invited 3 eminent personalities, all elements of BHU, to deliver their orations. Among us, these are Professor S.M. Tuli, a renowned orthopedic surgeon and former director. Professor Shridhar Devedi, an eminent cardiologist. Professor Abhimanyu Kumar, who is currently Vice Chancellor of Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, Rajasthan University, Jodhpur. I am really grateful to all of them that they have accepted our invitation and happily agreed to deliver the virtual orations at short notice. We would have enjoyed their physical presence in BHU, but this was not possible due to ongoing pandemic. We have also received recorded video messages from few of our former directors, which will also be played during the program. I also came to know that our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor V.K. Shuklaji, has also completed his journey of 50 years in this institute. He joined here in 1971. My congratulations to you, sir, for achieving this glory. Once again, I welcome you all to this program. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir, for your words of wisdom. May I now request Professor S.K. Singh, sir, our ever helpful and dynamic dean, to read the citation of Padma Shri Professor K.N. Udupa ji. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you. Respected Vice Chancellor, Professor V.K. Shuklaji, our Director, Professor B.R. Mittalji, Dean Research, Dr. Ashok Kumar, Dean Faculty of Ayurveda, Dr. K.N. Dwivedi, Dean Faculty of Dental Sciences, Dr. Banwal, Organizing Secretary, Dr. Manoj Pandey, my teachers sitting in the audience, and my teachers online, my colleagues sitting in this hall, and my colleagues online, my students, ladies and gents. It's a great privilege to have the celebration of birth centenary of Professor K.N. Udupa. I was very fortunate that when I joined in 1977, he was the director. And He actually retired in 1980, but he continued as emeritus professor. I would like to share a small incident. We hardly had time, or we hardly had opportunity to interact our director in those days. It was very difficult to meet our director. But I had one occasion in 1979, there was one conference, and I was working as a volunteer in that conference. I was given a letter by Dr. Udupa to be delivered to Sahnai Mistro Bismillah Khan. So I went to his house, and somebody pointed out that Bismillah Khan is lying on that cot to contact him. He was such an assuming person, very, very simple. And when I asked him that you have to be there in one of the cultural evening, he said, no, I don't perform anything local. And I will not like to be part of that program where scientists are there. So this is a big thing for me, I don't go. Then I said that this is a letter of Professor Ken Udupa. He said, Professor Ken Udupa is like Udupa of Sahnai, so I will come. And this is how he accepted the invitation of Professor Ken Udupa. So that was the glory, and that was the aura of our director in those times. So I would like to share with you the saga of Professor Ken Udupa. The foundation of Banaras Hindu University laid down 1916 by Mahamana Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya, and now this is a unique amalgamation of tradition, culture, synthesis, and science. Several academic luminaries were attracted to serve Mahamana's seat of learning. Padma Shri Ken Udupa was one of them, who made the largest contribution to the university development in the post-Malviyan era. Katil Narasimha Udupa was born on July 28, 1920 in Orthodox Brahmin family of Kodetur. His father, Sri Tamaya Udupa, was a scholar of Sanskrit and Jyotish. In 1936, the young Udupa came to Varanasi without informing his father, against the wishes of his family, to take admission in BHU Ayurvedic College. His sharp mind made him a favorite of his teachers. And after completing 6 years of training at BHU, he passed his final MS Ayurveda examination in 1943. A wanderer finds the path. Keep on walking, keep on going ahead. You will definitely reach your destination. And this was his mission. He went to University of Michigan in 1948 to receive training under Professor of Surgery John Alexander. Later, during the same trip, he completed FRCS from Canada. After coming home, he was appointed as surgical specialist and civil surgeon in Mandi district of Himachal Pradesh. He was subsequently offered a better posting in Shimla for his excellent performance. His journey for accomplishing his skills in surgery continued, and he returned to the USA from 1954 to 56 to work with Sir J. Engelbert Dunphy, who was a professor of surgery in Harvard University School of Medicine in Boston, and his interest was basically in wound healing. So here he conducted research on wound healing mechanisms, publishing half a dozen original scientific research papers in prestigious medical journal in the USA and UK, particularly that published in Annals of Surgery, New England Journal of Medicine, the British Journal of Bone and Joint Surgery. And one of the monograph I read where his contribution in wound healing was that vitamin C actually increases the collagen synthesis in wound, and therefore wound healing is hastened if there is a supplementation of vitamin C. And this he did very good experiment on rat model. And those days it was very difficult to measure the wound healing. Even this is a big challenge, how to measure the dynamism of the wound healing. And this was his first experiment he demonstrated, and still this is quoted, that if you want to do an experiment of wound healing, you have to follow the same kinetic of wound healing by the simple indigenous way which he discovered. So that was the interest in research which he accomplished. He returned to India again In 56, he joined the post of civil surgeon in Shimla, which he had earlier declined in July 58. He was appointed chairman of a committee on the reform of education, practice and research in indigenous system of medicine. The government accepted the Udupa committee report, which was a milestone in revival, development and mainstreaming of Indian system of medicine. His credentials outshined his peers, and therefore he was in high demand, as Dr. Mittal already said, that there was agitation in BHU campus demanding the return of Professor Ken Udupa as principal of the medical college. So he was the situation on the BHU campus due to agitation of students of Indian system of medicine forced the Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru to intervene, and he directed Udupa to join BHU immediately in the public interest in June 1959 as Professor of Surgery and Principal of Ayurvedic College. It was his unwilling return, in fact, because he had already completed and this was his alma mater. And as I said that he was a wanderer to reach the destination, but then he finally made this place as his destination of career. So against his will, he joined, and the college was converted into the College of Medical Science to start MBBS course in modern medicine and a postgraduate course in Ayurveda, leading to MD Ayurveda degree course. The Medical Council of India, as well as the British Medical Council, soon recognized the College of Medical Science. His aspiration to expand the horizon of the college resulted into start of courses including super specialty program in both faculties. BHU's College of Medical Science soon became well known on the medical map of India. He was single-handedly responsible for developing BHU's most important component, the IMS. In 1972, the College of Medical Sciences was upgraded to become the Institute of Medical Sciences, and he became the new institute's founder director. Professor Udupa was an astute clinician that we all know. Even I had occasion to see patients who had been operated on thyroid by Professor Ken Udupa, and they are on supplement therapy with thyroxine, and many times they say that, Dr. Saab, थोड़ा उनके गुण सीख लीजिए. So that had been the remark of many of our patients. Professor Udupa was an astute clinician and a skilled surgeon. His human touch made him popular amongst the patients and professional associates alike. Even with BHU hospitals' meager facilities, he performed all major surgery, including mitral valve surgery on the heart, traumatic surgery on the brain, and kidney transplant, including India's first kidney transplant in 1968. His student, Professor A.P. Pandey, later Professor of Surgery Urology of CMC Vellore, received Padma Shri for his contribution to renal transplant surgery in our country. And he learned that technique from here only. On his superannuation on 28 July 1980, Udupa was appointed lifelong Professor Emeritus. He served BHU for 20 years, always as Principal or Director of Institute of Medical Sciences, and he continued to serve his alma mater till his demise. In 1992, due to extensive cancer of the colon, he underwent massive surgery at the hands of one of his finest junior colleague, Professor Anand Khanna. But despite the intense care, he could not be saved. And on July 22nd, 1992, Professor Udupa, the favorite of all, breathed his last in the same BHU hospital which he himself had carved with so much love and dedication. So in one sentence, if I describe him, it reads, his outstanding work and more than that, his human qualities and futuristic vision led to his being addressed as the second Malviya of Varanasi University. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Really, the journey of Professor K. Udupa ji is exemplary and very inspiring. Thank you, sir. सौभाग्य हम सभी का कि आज हमारे IMS परिवार के बीच हमारे वरिष्ठ शिक्षकगण, अधिकारीगण उपस्थित हैं एवं ऑनलाइन माध्यम से हमारे साथ जुड़े हुए हैं। सम्मान आप सभी का। आप सबकी कर्तव्य परायणता ने इस संस्थान को शीर्ष पर पहुंचाया। आभार आप सभी का। अपने परिवार में पुनः सम्मिलित होकर हम सभी को अनुग्रहित करने के लिए। We will now take a short tour down the memory lane through video clipping which describes the journey of pride, honor and respect. I request the team to play the video clipping.
I am privileged to say a few words about one of the excellent surgeons. I am privileged to say a few words about one of the excellent surgeon, an able administrator, and an institution builder, Padam Shri Professor Kyan Udupa, on the occasion of his 100th birth anniversary. I have been fortunate enough to be one of his favorite students in IMS BHU. In the latter half of the 20th century, several universities through their new ideas and vision. All such stalwarts deserve a special mention for their outstanding contributions in raising the university to its present status. But among them, Padam Shri Professor Kyan Udupa figures as one of the tops, and alumnus of BHU. Professor Kyan Udupa has made significant contribution towards the all-round development of the university. His outstanding work, besides his human qualities and futuristic vision, are truly praiseworthy. Born in 1921 in an Orthodox Brahmin family, Kyan Udupa had an inclination towards medical profession from very beginning, and he always wanted to opt for a medical career. In 19 Poland,
in 1959 and continued there. In 1960, the RV college was closed and a modern medical college was started. And the title College of Medical Science. And Dr. Udupa became the principal in the college. This college flourished very fast because of efforts of Dr. Udupa. And within a decade, it became the Institute of Medical Sciences, and Dr. Udupa became the director, founder director. My sweet memory goes to the years 1966 to 69, 3 years, when I was a PhD student under Dr. Udupa. I was awarded PhD under him in 69. This is in brief my experience with him. He became twice rector of the university, acting vice chancellor, and helped a lot this university to grow. Therefore, many people considered him the second Malviya because he was one of the Malviji who contributed so much to this university. I pay my homage to my teacher and founder of the Institute of Medical Sciences, Dr. Udupa. Dr. Patel Narsingh Udupa was his full name, and thank the organizers of this event and wish success. Thank you.
सर्वप्रथम मेरा कोटि कोटि नमन उस महापुरुष को जिसने एक छोटे से मेडिकल कॉलेज से इंस्टीट्यूट का रूप दिलवाया, वो भी बहुत कम दिनों में। दूसरा मेरा नमस्कार है जो भी ऑडियंस इसको सुन रहे हैं, देख रहे हैं। मैंने कॉलेज ऑफ मेडिकल साइंसेस 1966 में ज्वाइन किया। जब मुझे याद है उस समय सेकंड बैच ऑफ एमबीबीएस इम्तिहान में अपीयर कर रहा था। उसके बाद से इतनी मीगर फैसिलिटीज में कम स्टाफ होने के बाद में भी डॉक्टर उडुप्पा के एनकरेजमेंट से हमारा कॉलेज जल्दी ही इंस्टीट्यूट के रूप में बदल गया। प्रोफेसर उडुप्पा का सबसे बड़ा इंटरेस्ट था रिसर्च और इट्स पब्लिकेशन। अपने भी करते थे, हम लोगों को भी सबको इनकरेज करते थे कि रिसर्च करो और पब्लिकेशन करो। वो हमारे कॉलेज के लिए नाम लाता है, करने वाले का भी नाम होता है, कॉलेज का भी नाम होता है। मैक्सिमम टाइम वो जो है हॉस्पिटल में ही बिताते थे। सवेरे राउंड में आते थे, उसके बाद शायद लंच लेने घर जाते थे, फिर शाम को अपने ऑफिस में बैठ के काम करते थे। 8 बजे रात को उनका लास्ट राउंड होता था। बिना वार्ड का राउंड किए 8 बजे वो घर नहीं जाते थे। डॉक्टर उडुप्पा ने अपने टाइम में बहुत सारी चीजें ऐसी स्टार्ट कराई जो मेरी नॉलेज में है कि और मेडिकल कॉलेजेस में अवेलेबल नहीं है। एक तो हमारे यहाँ की फैकल्टी में 2 फैकल्टी थी, एक आयुर्वेदा और दूसरी मॉडर्न मेडिसिन। हमारे पूर्वांचल के लोगों को इतने बड़े हॉस्पिटल और इंस्टीट्यूट का लाभ मिला जिसमें 2-2 फैकल्टी थी। वो जो भी पसंद करते थे उससे वो अपना ट्रीटमेंट करा सकते थे। दूसरी टाइम थी, उन्होंने योगा का एक सर्टिफिकेट कोर्स खोला। वो बहुत ज़्यादा इंटरेस्ट रखते थे योगा में और अपने भी योगा करते थे और ज़्यादातर चीज़ें हर्बल ही लेते थे। नतीजा ये था कि रिटायरमेंट के बाद में भी कोई उनकी एज नहीं पहचान सकता था।
I had a long association with Professor Udupa since August 1962 till he died in July 1992. With the upgradation of Ayurvedic Medical College into College of Medical Sciences in 1962, Professor K. Udupa became its principal and professor of surgery. The limited facilities of the old Ayurvedic Medical College were being shared by the both faculty of modern medicine and faculty of indigenous medicine. I can remember that in one room, 3 departments were OPD was running, like ENT, eye, and dental surgery. And with its elevation to College of Medical Sciences, building started coming up gradually. Dr. Udupa was very hardworking and great administrator and a very much eminent research worker, and it had a futuristic vision. For these qualities, he had a good relationship in the center. And when he was principal, Dr. Sushila Nair was the health minister, and with her and with his association with UGC, ICM, and he started getting money. And subsequently, construction started of the various departments like pediatric, INT, radiotherapy, outdoor building, indoor building, and special wards. Dr. Udupa had a great vision, and for this, under his leadership, the College of Medical Sciences was elevated to Institute of Medical Sciences in March 1970. I am proud to say that I am the first MS and PhD holder of the Department of Surgery from BHU, and both my theses were guided by Professor K. Udupa, and they were partly research oriented.
Friends, I welcome you all to the centenary celebration of Professor K. Udupa. My dear fellow colleagues, I hope you will agree with me that much of the glory and shine of any institution, particularly of any professional institute, depends upon the founding faculty and its first batch graduate, often called as a pioneer batch of the said institution. I am lucky to be the part of this pioneer batch. In his first address to all of us, our director, Professor Ken Udupa told that you all will lay down the foundations and set a healthy tradition. And I always remember this well. First batch is like the child in the family who is loved by and cared by all members of the fraternity. Everyone looks at them with great expectation. This is so true about the Institute of Medical Sciences, NE College of Medical Sciences, which was established way back in 1960 by our beloved director, Professor K.N. Udupa. Almost wedded to his mission of making this institution of Mahamana as a model in the entire country, he used to work day and night with full devotion and would be in the hospital, college, or surgical research lab, a place where he enjoyed maximum relaxation and worked with research scholars and scientists from different disciplines. He was visionary, would remember every student by his name and face. Such was his remarkable ability. Never compromise work with self. Because of his hard work, the institution was first recognized by British Medical Council and later on by Medical Council of India. It was because of visionary decisions. About 15 teachers visited United Kingdom under Commonwealth Medical Fellowship. His remarkable abilities, sincerities, and simplicity of his lifestyle ensured love and affection from patients, students, and from his colleagues. The love and respect that was shown by him, by his colleagues and students, and the help which he used to deliver reflected the greatness of this unassuming personality. He was very honest and a great surgeon, researcher, and very able administrator. He invited many scientists and eminent medical professionals from the country and abroad to visit this institution to share their views with the research faculty and teachers. I hope that all those who passed out from this great institution and the coming generation will remember this great man who lived with us with great simplicity and devoted his whole life for the betterment of this institute. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to express my feeling on this occasion.
Dear colleagues, Professor K.N. Udupa, famous for wound healing studies in Boston, USA, was a visionary. He created an institute that we are proud of to be associated with. He brought me from the Maulana Azad Medical College, New Delhi as reader and provided all possible facilities to create a department of pediatrics with national and international repute. This department secured one fellowship of National Academy of Medical Sciences and over 300 articles in international journals. His support got my wife on deputation to the IMS as lecturer. Our family remains grateful and indebted to Dr. Udupa's divine soul, and we continue to cherish his memories. Today, it is our turn to give something in return. Dr. Udupa will be very pleased to learn that his concept and vision of integrated medicine is explored by us in modern medicine.
About Dr. Udupa, I think I came across him first time in 1972 at All India Institute of Medical Sciences. There in the clinical society meeting of the All India Institute in Delhi, he appeared in the clinical society meeting as a guest, and he did give some comments which were quite impressive to me. I found he was a very simple person, but well-meaning person, and very updated in his knowledge. The subject of the presentation is in that clinical society meeting was very recent, and he did give very updated comments. So that impressed me. Later on, to my good luck, I was at this institute selected And then when I got selected, I read about him. I found that he had a very tedious childhood, full of struggles, and his example gave me the credit that it's a saying that when your stress is there, it is a way of success. So his life story is very inspiring for everybody. He rose from very modest beginning to achieve great heights. And he was a man with progressive vision. This Institute of Medical Sciences, which was initially just an Ayurvedic institute, emerged into an institute of modern medicine and Indian medicine, which is an ideal combination or institution to be followed in the country. He has been a great inspirer of medicine as well as medicine to our country. It's a great gift. I feel blessed to have worked with him. Very inspiring person, very great academician, and very great administrator. Hats off to him. And the Institute of Medical Sciences would ever remain grateful to him. Every brick of Institute of Medical Sciences is his creation.
मेरी पहली मुलाकात उडुपा जी से 1978 में एक मीटिंग हुई थी IMS में, और ILT1 में हमने उनसे मुलाकात की थी। वो उनकी शालीनता की प्रतिमूर्ति थी, इतने सिंपल थे, इतने हंसमुख थे कि देखते ही मैं तो बहुत ही ज़्यादा इम्प्रेस्ड हुआ था। उसके बाद प्रोफेसर प्रीतम दास जो कि प्रिंसिपल थे MLN मेडिकल कॉलेज के, हमारे मेंटर थे, उनके अंडर हमने MS किया था। उन्होंने हमसे कहा कि तुम जाके उडुपा साहब से मिलो, क्योंकि उस समय मैं इंग्लैंड में 4 साल बिता के आया हुआ था और पूल ऑफिसर था मैं इलाहाबाद मेडिकल कॉलेज में, और मुझे नौकरी की तलाश थी। तो चूंकि मैं एक बार उनसे ऐसे मिल भी चुका था, इसीलिए मुझे बहुत ही प्रसन्नता हुई कि वो मुझे ऐसा कह रहे हैं। उसके बाद मेरा यहाँ सिलेक्शन हो गया था और मैंने मार्च 1979 को यहाँ ज्वाइन कर लिया था। 1980 में हमारे मेंटर और टीचर प्रोफेसर एली ह्यूज को हमने इनवाइट किया था यूपी स्टेट चैप्टर ASI में मीटिंग के लिए। उसके दौरान इलाहाबाद में मीटिंग थी, उसके दौरान मैंने उनको रिक्वेस्ट किया कि वो यहाँ आए, और यहाँ पे प्रोफेसर वैद्या ने उनका प्रभाव प्रकट किया, और उसके बाद प्रोफेसर उडुपा ने उनको बहुत ज़्यादा उनको आदर दिया और उनको अपने OT में ले गए। OT में हम भी थे उनके साथ, आयुर्वेदिक OT हुआ करती थी उन दिनों, सर्जिकल OT, और वहाँ पे उन्होंने एक बहुत बड़ा थायराइड का केस किया जिसमें प्रोफेसर एली ह्यूज ने असिस्ट किया। बिना खून गिरे पूरा थायराइड निकल गया, और प्रोफेसर ह्यूज ने बाद में मुझसे कहा कि क्या बढ़िया टेक्निक है, इसको क्यों नहीं हम लोग पॉपुलराइज करें और लिखें। प्रोफेसर उडुपा प्रोफेसर ह्यूज के बहुत बड़े फैन बन गए, और प्रोफेसर ह्यूज भी उनके बहुत बड़े चहेते बन गए। ये म्यूचुअल अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ ग्रेट पीपल थी। उडुपा साहब थे, कोई राग और द्वेष नहीं था, और वो अपमान भी नहीं उनको लगता था, किसी को अपना अपमानित भी नहीं करते थे। जैसा कि कहा गया था, वो स्थित प्रज्ञ थे, नुकसान और फायदा दोनों में समान रूप से रहते थे।
Very outset, I seek the blessing of Vishnu, bless Mr. K. Udupa, that his soul should rest in peace wherever he is. I must congratulate the present administration head by Professor Udupa and Dr. Singh, who could think of to have the centenary celebration of Professor K. Udupa, a great man, a great visionary. Now, I have a special privilege that I have observed it as a stream, as starting from first year to previous and MD, DM stream, and as a faculty member, lecturer, teacher, professor, at different level. So, in that way, I see special privilege. Now, as a student, Professor Udupa has a unique quality. One or two instances I'll try to put here. What is that? If there is some problem or agitation, in those days strikes and agitation of the students are quite common. But students try to find out if there is a station, they will not think of continuing starting a strike. So, because if some students are agitated, without telling any doubt, he directly walks past. He used to walk to the hostel, all the students, and ask them, what is your problem? Why you not done the class today? Then all the students, and every group have a leader. Leader used to tell something. He said, okay, I listen, etc. He used to ask innocent students, simple students. And the students said, no, sir, there is no problem. And in no time, the strike is Kerala, and all the students they joined that classes. So that's one. Similarly, I have a president of a hostel, and this was so simple. One day I asked him, said, sometime come in the evening. He said, okay, I'll come. I'll inform you. So we were very happy. Suddenly, one day at 7 p.m., PA just rang me, informed me that Udupa is coming today for dinner. We were not prepared in that, but immediately without wasting time, we put on 8-10 dishes from different messes, and the person who so many dishes the students are getting, because it is in front of them. So he's a great man in that.
Honorable Vice Chancellor of Banaras Hindu University, esteemed Director of the Institute of Medical Sciences, respected past directors and deans, distinguished past and present faculties, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a great honor and privilege for me, having been invited to speak briefly from my memory regarding Professor K.N. Udupa on the occasion of his birth centenary. My first encounter with Padma Shri Professor Katil Narasimha Udupa as principal was in 1967 when I joined medical college. He used to take few introductory classes along with lectures on topics of surgery. When I passed out in 1972, the college became an institute with Professor K.N. Udupa as its founder director. The credit of the elevation as Institute of Medical Sciences goes solely to him. He recruited exceptionally competent professionals in every department, and as a team leader, took the institute to great heights. He was the supervisor of my dissertation when I joined MS surgery in 1973. My thesis was on thyroid malignancy, which I have kept till date as a precious relic signed by him. During my post-graduation, I drew very close to him and gained his great confidence in me. The whole clinical load of his patients was on me, along with Professor Saroj Gupta, be it ward, OPD, operation theatre, or emergency. Due to his very busy schedule relating to administrative affairs, his evening hospital rounds used to be late with no fixed timings. Though most of the residents would leave, but I would wait for him without fail till his arrival. He kindled the research instinct in me and helped me to fetch many laurels on the national level. He also made me understand the importance of animal experimentation in clinical research, which I pursued throughout my intense research work on reconstructive surgery. After post-graduation, I was offered lecturership in general surgery. He insisted that I should pursue a super specialty branch, stating that future scope and expansion lay in super specialties. Therefore, because of my interest, I joined MCH Plastic Surgery in 1976. A great visionary. Since 1975, he created several surgical and medical divisions and recruited stalwart specialists to build an institute of excellence. Later, these divisions became departments with MCH and DM courses. Thus, the status of our institute, which we are enjoying today, is exclusively my chief's contribution. His main areas of interest were thyroid lesions and wound healing. He had the highest number of thyroid operation series in the country during his era. He used to come to the institute at 8 a.m. and return home after 10 p.m. A man of overwhelming energy, he had admirable time management ability, as a result of which he could simultaneously involve himself in multifarious engagements. He was always ready to be present anywhere, anytime to acquire first-hand knowledge of anything that was needed. We used to call him an omnipresent person. He remembered most of his students by name. He would call me anytime for both professional and personal reasons. Even after his superannuation, he was deeply engaged in surgical research and other academic activities. The whole country adored him because of his philanthropic attitude, dedication, and administrative capabilities. His contribution in my lifetime achievements plays a vital role and shall always remain stamped in my memory. I humbly pay my sincere, deep tribute to my chief, who, as a role model, was greatly instrumental in shaping my professional career as an acclaimed plastic surgeon. Thank you very much.
Namaskar, friends. Today, on the occasion of centenary celebration of Professor K.N. Udupa, I feel myself honored and privileged for talking about Professor K.N. Udupa, a man who was devoted, dedicated, and available for Institute of Medical Sciences 24/7. He was omnipresent in institute, present in all, each and every activities of Institute of Medical Sciences. Osmania Medical College hosted a cultural festival for all India medical students and staff. I requested him for his permission and sanction of TNB. While signing the letter, he told, Institute के लिए prize लाना जरूर. I told, I'll try, sir. And believe me or not, the play we took there and presented, we got all the awards for that play. I came and handed over the trophies to him. Then he laughed. अरे तुम तो एक प्राइज विनिंग डायरेक्टर बन गए. I think that his blessing. Subsequently and eventually, I became the director of Institute of Medical Sciences to carry the lamp which he had first started. I joined the legacy he has left behind.
ये मेरा सौभाग्य है कि आज मैं एक ऐसी शख्सियत को आमंत्रित करने जा रही हूं जिन्होंने इस संस्था को ही नहीं अपितु इस विश्वविद्यालय को एक नई ऊंचाइयों पर पहुंचाया, जिनकी कार्यशैली और कर्तव्य परायणता से हम सभी प्रेरित हैं। परम आदरणीय कुलपति महोदय प्रोफेसर V.K. शुक्ला सर से अनुरोध है कि वे अपने अनुभव को हमारे साथ साझा करें। वेलकम सर।
Thank you, Kiran, for your kind words. My teacher and director, ex-director, Professor N.N. Khanna sir, Professor V.P. Singh, Professor R.G. Singh, Professor K. Mahapatra, Professor Tripathi, Director, Professor B.R. Mittal, Dean, Professor S.K. Singh, Dean Research, Professor Ashok Kumar, Dean, Faculty of Ayurveda, Professor K.M. Dwivedi, Dean, Faculty of Dental Sciences, Professor Barnwal, colleagues, friends, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I'd like to extend warm welcome to teacher of the teachers, Professor S.M. Tuli, Professor Sridhar Dwivedi and Abhimanyu Kumar, who has been kind enough to address this gathering on the occasion of the birth centenary celebration of Professor K.N. Udupa. I had got a write-up, but everything has been covered. So I'm wondering what to say. So I thought I'll share my experiences with him. I've been lucky one to have worked under Professor K.N. Udupa's guidance. I joined this institute in 1971, exactly 50 years ago. And it reminds me, at that time, I had come from Allahabad. I did my BSc from Allahabad University, and at that time, Allahabad University used to be known as the Oxford of East. So during the counseling, Professor Udupa asked me, Baba, Allahabad se aaya hai, jayega to nahi? Because I was selected in UP CPM team also. So jayega to nahi? Maine kaha nahi, sir. And we came here because this college was upgraded as Institute of Medical Sciences, as against the UP medical colleges, they were all colleges. And after 50 years, I can say that I have no regrets. And as Professor Bhattacharya has mentioned, I have been fortunate enough to have his guidance, and looking at his daily routine, as he has rightly mentioned, his day used to start at 8 and never finish before 10. I remember when I was interned, I was posted in his unit for about a month. We used to wait outside the portico of the old hospital, which is now the Ayurvedic hospital, at 9, hoping that Professor Udupa will be coming. His routine was he used to go to the hospital, then in the afternoon he will be in the office. He'll spend some time in the surgical lab. It used to be, now it is IMS, earlier it was called surgical lab. And after surgical lab, 8:30 onwards, he used to go to temple for his evening walk. And from temple, he used to walk to the hospital. And then we used to go for rounds with him. So that was his routine. And without fail, if he is in Varanasi, he will have his round. So that was one thing to learn from him, his dedication. And above all, he was a super human being. And then the other incidents which happened was that after my MS, I met him in hospital while he was on round. And somehow or the other, I don't know why, he used to call me Mishra. He said, Mishra, what is your plan? I said, sir, I am interested in academic. Then one line which he told me that I still remember, and that has been guiding me throughout my life. And that was that I want you to stay here. And that was my strength and guidance. Then the third motivation which I got from him was his work in field of wound healing. When I was in UK, I decided that somebody from the Department of Surgery should pursue this discipline, because the contribution of Professor Udupa in the field of wound healing has been tremendous, and it has been milestone, because his work in the field of wound healing has been cited in many Western textbooks. I was not lucky to get a opportunity to work in the Harvard Medical School, but I did manage to get opportunity to work in the University College of San Francisco, University of California, San Francisco, under Professor Thomas K. Hunt, who was again doyen of wound healing. Again, I think his contributions in the field of wound healing have been tremendous. I wait to see somebody to match what he did and contributed in this field. So I happened to visit and work with him for some time. And from there, I decided that yes, I'll now pursue the wound healing as my research domain. Then I also was motivated by his routine that he will spend his time in the hospital, in the office. Then he must spend time in the surgical lab. If he doesn't, he finds that his day is incomplete. And I remember, that motivated many of my teachers and faculty members to work in the surgical lab. And this again reminds me of Professor Bhatnagar. Professor Bhatnagar did some work on the healing of the ureters. He used to cut, he used to stitch, and then follow them the healing, tensile strength and all. So what I'm trying to say is that he was motivating each and everyone who came in contact with him. As Professor Bhattacharya has mentioned, I was highly impressed with him, and he has been my mentor, and that is how what I could achieve today is his guidance as his mentorship. Similarly, he said that whatever you do, until unless you report, publish it, nobody is going to know. So you must report these research outcomes. Then another thing which he told me was that if you want to do research, do something original. Don't try to follow something which has appeared in the journals, because if it is published, you will never get the credit for reproducing the same. That also changed my approach, and then on whatever I did, I tried to do the original, and then you get the citation in the journals and the textbooks, because that is your original work. So these have been many qualities of Professor K. N. Udupa. And I think what I'd like to say here is that this Institute of Medical Sciences is the living embodiment of Professor K. N. Udupa. What he created, and he created single-handed. From the Ayurvedic College to the Medical College, from Medical College to the Institute of Medical Sciences, from there to starting the super specialty courses and taking us to these heights. And other thing which I remember about him is that now we go to the ministers and request them to give us some money. Earlier, ministers used to come to him. That was the beauty. And wherever he went for any help, I think he never came back empty-handed. Whether it was UGC, whether it was Ministry of Health or Education, wherever he went. And that is how he could create this Institute of Medical Sciences. So, on his 100th birth centenary celebration, I pay my tribute to the legend, Professor K. N. Udupa. And I think we must try to learn from him and try to do whatever little we can to give our tribute to him. With these few words, once again, I'd like to thank the organizers for conducting this event, and thank you for coming and attending and listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your experiences with us, taking us down the memory lane, inspiring us and rejuvenating us. Now it is the time for the Professor K. N. Udupa Centenary Orations. We have 3 distinguished speakers, and we are very fortunate to hear them. To begin with, may I take the privilege of introducing the first speaker in this session, Professor S.M. Tuli. Professor Tuli graduated in 1955 and post-graduated in 1958 from Government Medical College, Amritsar, Punjab. He obtained his PhD from Delhi University in 1966. He was also awarded with FAMS and International Fellowship of National Institute of Health, United States. He established the Department of Orthopedics in IMS BHU and UCMS New Delhi. He also established bone banks at BHU, UCMS, and Vimhans. His major contributions have been in the field of spinal tuberculosis. He has several publications, chapters, and books, and has also served as the editor of the Indian Journal of Orthopedics. Lastly, he has been a surgeon of common man, VIPs, doctors, including many orthopedic surgeons. We welcome you, sir, for your oration, The Vision of Visionary, Professor K.N. Udupa.
जब बोले am I audible? I hope I am audible. I'm not quite sure. This is my first experience to talk online. You are able to hear me or not, I do not know it. It's a great honor.
You are audible, sir. You're audible.
It's
However,
a
your
great,
video is not.
it's a great
Sir,
honor.
please switch on your video.
But I don't think we should waste time. It's a great pleasure and honor for me to learn that the present generation is organizing to celebrate the centenary day of the founder of Medical College, Varanasi University, Professor Udupa. Professor Udupa started Medical College in 1960, and within a few years, the facilities and faculties were advanced in all medical specialties to upgrade the facility as Institute of Medical Sciences in 1971. Professor Udupa was a visionary. He encouraged and selected the faculty from all over the country, thus encouraging the development and amalgamation of various thought processes. While working with Dr. Doraiswamy in All India Institute of Medical Science in New Delhi, I was induced to join BHU to develop the Department of Orthopedics. I joined as faculty in 1965, and my other colleagues in orthopedics at that time were Dr. T.P. Srivastava, a student of Professor Sinha from Lucknow, Dr. Verma, a student of Dr. Mukhopadhyay from Patna. This was almost Professor Udupa's pattern of induction of faculty from different schools in all specialties. Dr. Srivastava, Dr. Verma, and myself had the warmest relationships for the development of our specialty. The first generation of faculty in IMS did put in their best talent and efforts to create and establish the modern facilities for undergraduate and postgraduate teaching, training, and research in basic subjects, preclinical disciplines, and all clinical branches. Professor Udupa was very enthusiastic about development of experimental laboratory. He would often discuss the role of yoga, medicinal plants, herbs for the treatment of patients. Many popular and effective medicines at that time originated from plants or herbs. Examples, quinine from cinchona, aspirin from willow bark, racapine from Rauwolfia serpentina. Professor Udupa discussion involved about a plant called hadjod, a favorite food of elephants, a vegetarian animal with very strong bones. Hadjod was a very favorite food by the elephant. We collected the fluid from these plants and tested in IMS labs, which showed that this hadjod plant, Arcysus quadrangularis, in fact had anabolic hormones. A few pharmaceutical companies are now have marketed bone healing preparations from such plants. As a sequel of discussion, Dr. Udupa helped me write an article, 5,000 Years of Orthopedics in India. Around 1960s, when anti-TB drugs became available, the penetration of drugs into skeletal tuberculosis was globally debated. The investigative facilities developed at IMS BHU were utilized to measure the concentration of common drugs in osteoarticular tuberculosis. It was observed in the BHU laboratories and communicated to international journals that anti-TB drugs readily reach the diseased area in effective concentration. The book, Tuberculosis of the Skeletal System, this is the book. The book on skeletal system, tuberculosis of the skeletal system, was made in IMS BHU. And this very book shows you that here is a patient who has a cold abscess being aspirated, and the abscess color is pink, which really shows you it is the color of the rifampicin, which has gone into the cold abscess and which can be seen even in a simple aspirate material. Professor Udupa had established experimental research lab, and the orthopedic faculty took advantage to assess the efficacy of bone morphogenetic protein as suggested by Dr. Marshall Urist. Dr. Devendra Gupta, a senior orthopedic surgeon, and many younger orthopedic students worked on rabbits to judge the potential of BMP in the repair of bone defects. BMP in various forms established regenerative potential in rabbits as well as in clinical cases. IMS BHU has been the proponent of use of allogenic decal bone in clinical orthopedics. And many of these articles have been published in national and global journals. Here is an example. This is again from BHU, IMS BHU. Here is a bone graft being allogenic bone graft contained in ethanol preservation lying in your own bank. The whole of the tibia and the whole of the fibula, they are allogenic bone graft which can be very successfully used in clinical practice in orthopedics. If you have a visionary like Professor Udupa as your role model and you are an enthusiastic mentee, one can contribute to the national and global knowledge for offering solutions to many clinical problems. The Indian subcontinent provides about 25% of the global clinical cases at different stages of their natural course. We can contribute even with moderate infrastructure. After retirement, Professor Udupa was discussing with me the place to settle down. He thought of Kulu and Manali. I said, sir, our journey of life has to be completed one day. However, one does not know what lies in our fate around the next corner. You are a very knowledgeable doctor who knows what medical facilities are available for any ailment. Staying in a far-off place like Kulu Manali will not provide you the best of medical help in time if needed. Professor Udupa opted to stay in Varanasi and he left the world peacefully in 1992. I pray the millennial generation put in their best effort to make the best use of facilities available in IMS BHU and places they get an opportunity to work. I would pray they practice a healthy lifestyle and nurture a self-wellness. We may not have the facilities of Harvard Medical University, but you have no dearth of sharp neurons to contribute nationally and globally. This is my first talk online. I'm still in a learning process. I'm thankful to Dr. Mittal and Dr. Singh giving me the opportunity to give this talk, and to Dr. Sridhar Dwivedi sitting on my right hand. He has been my right hander to help me for my first oration art talk online. Thank you very much. Having interacted with so many enthusiastic people, especially the millennial generation. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for your exemplary words. I request the team to display the oration plaque. This oration plaque is presented to respected Professor S.M. Tulisar as a mark of respect from Institute of Medical Sciences. Thanks again, sir. Professor Sridhar Dwivedi, a distinguished alumnus of Banaras Hindu University, is an institutional builder. He is MD in General Medicine, PhD in Cardiology, FAMS from India, FRCP from London, FIACS from Canada. He is currently working as a senior consultant cardiologist at National Heart Institute and Professor of Eminence at Delhi Pharmaceutical Science Research University, New Delhi. Dr. Dwivedi has been a founder dean and principal of Hamdard Institute of Medical Sciences and Research, Jamia Hamdard, and chairman of the Board of Governance of Delhi Pharmaceutical Sciences and Research University since its inception. His principal area of research interests revolve around preventive cardiology since 1972, from which he has been awarded by WHO CIRO on World No Tobacco Day 2021 as a Special Recognition Award. He is a pioneer figure for propagating telemedicine as a therapeutic tool for rural health. A prolific writer and researcher, he has contributed some 220 research papers in national and international journals. An exceptionally devoted teacher, extreme rare combination of passionate clinician, health activist, and expressive face of holistic medicine. I humbly request you, sir, to present your oration on the topic Colossus Among Legend, Professor K.N. Udupa. I welcome you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I will like to share my PPTs. Good afternoon, everyone. Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor V.C. Shukla, Director IMS Professor Mittal, revered Professor Tulisar on my left, esteemed teachers, fellow alumni, ladies and gentlemen. What could be the more auspicious coincidence that hardly a week has passed when we celebrated Guru Purnima on 24th July and paid respects to our teachers. And today we have assembled here to celebrate the birth anniversary of our very beloved teacher, Professor K.N. Udupa, the legendary founder of the Institute of Medical Sciences, the crown jewel of Banaras University. I must express my heartfelt gratitude to the organizers of Professor K.N. Udupa's centenary celebration for giving me an opportunity to speak about some of his outstanding qualities of head and heart. Of Professor Udupa said, his contribution, remarkable contribution, building this Institute of Medical Sciences. Let me start with a Mangalacharan, which has been written by Professor Prabhakar Prasad, the professor of Sanskrit at Lal Bahadur Shastri National Sanskrit University. Jatam Viprikule Visishtamati Mat Pradhyapakam Vishrutam Kasyam Pandit Mandale Suviditam Khyatam Chikitsavidam Kshetre Sodhavidam Prasasan Pade Kirtishchaye Nashita Kirtishchaye Najita Kode Tur Nivasinam Tumutamam Vaidragya Garyam Numaha Chikitsa Sanstha Pratham Me Sanchalan Patum Prasiddham Pracharyam Dishtisya Deshe Bhutgade Udupa Namna Abhyustam Akhil Vigyan Nipudam Narasimham Bhesajje Charake Setam Bahunamaha. Next slide. Next. Having said so, now let me take to his journey to medicine. It is a story, it is a saga of his travel from Kodetpur to Kashi. He was born on 20th July 1920 in Kodetpur village, Kodetpur. His parents were from traditional Sanskrit family. Father Timaya was a Vedic scholar and astrologer. He got his initial training in Sanskrit, in classical Sanskrit way at Udupi, and then there he developed he fell into love with the medicine and wanted to pursue the medicine. But father was not ready. In any case, he went to Chennai. He went to Madras. There was the Ayurvedic medical college there. But he was refused admission in Madras because he was not having any English medium degree. He was purely having Sanskrit degree. Somebody suggested him to go to Malvi Raji's place in Varanasi at Ayurvedic college, Banaras University. He went with an introductory letter to Professor Das Nacharya, who was professor of spectroscopy and physics. He landed at Varanasi. He did his AMS, Ayurvedacharya, Master of Medicine and Surgery, with distinctions. He topped almost in all the professional examinations. There he developed interest in surgery. So he went to his third visit, his fourth stoppage was Bombay, Podara Ayurvedic Hospital, where he met Colonel Mirajkar. And he wanted to go abroad. Colonel Mirajkar helped him to go to USA and Michigan, where he did his MS in surgery. While doing MS in surgery, he also did FRCS Canada. After having acquired his FRCS and MS, he came to India and he was joined Central Health Services, then Central Health Services, and he was posted at Mandi as a civil surgeon. And in Mandi, he did outstanding work, mainly thyroid surgery. He was treated as a demigod in Mandi. Then he worked for some time. Then he went again to USA. He wanted to work more, and there he worked with Professor Dumpy in wind healing. After having spent 2 years there, he came back to Shimla and Snowden Hospital. When as a civil channel, this was the turning point of his life, because that was the time when his name and fame spread all over the country in the Ayurvedic circles. And this was the first case in history when students demanded the principal of their choice, and they demanded Professor Udupa as the principal of the Ayurvedic College in 1959. Then, on the persuasion of the then Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, he was sent to Banaras University. Then Professor B.S. Jha was the vice chancellor at that time, and he joined as professor of surgery and principal of the Ayurvedic College. He had studied the problem of the student unrest, and he was very clear in his mind, until unless you create job opportunities for your youngsters, you are not going to solve the problem of student unrest. So he suggested founding medical college. The Ayurvedic college was converted into a medical college in 1960. Thus was the birth of the medical college, and that at that point of time it was called College of Medical Sciences. And Professor Udupa worked day in, day night, and he saw to it that the college attained the stature of the institute, and the institute was founded in principle in March 1971, became operative in 1972, and he remained as the director of that institute in 1918. Even after retirement, he worked on ICMR research project on rural development in 1981, and he was available for community service and healthcare to all the people 24 hours. And ultimately, in July 1992, he left for his heavenly abode. So his was the journey to medicine, which started from Katil to Kashi, and Katil to Kashi to USA, Canada, again back at Kashi. And he got his Kashi Dham in July 1992. Next slide, please. And this is the pioneer batch of 1960, which Professor V.P. Singh, my senior from the first batch, the director of the institute, he has displayed, but I'm displaying it again because we need to show the legendary figures which we had. Professor Fulchandra, Professor of Anesthesia, Professor D. Sharma on the left side, Professor Indu Gupta, Professor Marma, Professor Basumali, the legendary figure again obstetrician, and then Professor Ken Gaur, who was the first professor of medicine at this place. And in center, we are seeing our beloved director, Professor Ken Udupa, Professor Samir Singh, the very strict person in anatomy, and Professor P.K. Das, the legendary figure in pharmacology, and of course, Professor Vaidya, I can see. The ladies I am not able to recognize at the moment, and all my seniors. And behind the back also, you can see the stalwarts, Professor T.P. Srivastava, Professor Srivastava from physiology, Professor Samant, Professor M.M. Mathur, Professor P.K. Srivastava, again, a legendary teacher of medicine of our time, Professor Avasthi, Professor Professor Somani, Professor A.K. Das, Professor A.P. Shukla, again, the man who used to draw diagrams from his both hands, I can see. So this is the pioneer batch of 1960. The same batch in 1985. Please display this. This is wonderful photograph. Dr. Udupa has retired. But look, the conflict, the charm, look, the affection which he enjoyed. He's sitting in the center. All these people who are sitting in the center are the legends of their time. I can see from, I will go from left, Professor G.T. Singhal, Professor Basu Malik, Professor O.P. Gupta, Professor Ayan Gupta, Professor Udupa Sen, Professor Somani, who is again 94, another legend of this time. He is still agile. And Professor D. Sharma, I can see him. I had seen a few months back on the WhatsApp, Professor P.K. Srivastava. So all these legendary figures are there, and behind them are their mentees who are standing in 1985. This is the first batch of the IMS, which brought laurels to this place. It gave directors. Professor V.P. Singh was the director from this batch. Next slide, please. Okay, so he was a Garm Yogi. Everybody has said so, but I will give some examples. He was an outstanding surgeon, clinician. Look at his daily schedule. He will be available to community, always considerate for treating poor and economically backward class. Let me see his daily schedule. These clocks will denote to you his daily schedule. Next slide. Yes, this is the clock. You at 8:30 a.m. he will arrive in the college or in the hospital. If some surgery is scheduled, he will go to the hospital. Otherwise, he will come in the college, remain there till 10 a.m. Then from 10 to 2, he will be in the hospital. His work schedule used to go by clock. And from 2 to 2:30 to 5:30 in IMS office, without a nap, he will take his lunch even in his office in an ante room, and then again he will come to the research lab 6 to 5. Research lab was his favorite place where he used to relax. And 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. people are not told. He used to go to the library every day. In the library, there used to be a register. Everybody used to sign. He used to check who are the people who from the faculty who have come in the library. That was his method of knowing who are the people who are reading the new journals. So he will go to the library, and then 8:30 or 9, he will go to the hospital round his famous evening round which Dr. Saroj Gupta told, which Professor V.K. Shukla told. Next slide, please. Next slide, Suji. Okay, so he was a mentor par excellence. Everybody has told about Dr. A.P. Pandey, who moved to CMC Vellore for MCH in urology under legendary H.S. Bhatt on his body, on his recommendation. Dr. A.P. Pandey later got Padma Shri for his pioneering work on renal transplant, maximum number of renal transplant done in this country. Dr. K.D. Tripathi, again from the first batch. Who doesn't know K.D. Tripathi? Who has gone to the portals of pharmacology. The book KDT, which is sold like a hot cake even now, not only in India, but in Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Gulf countries also. Dr. V.K. Shukla, the current Vice Chancellor of the Varanasi University, who followed his footsteps in surgery. Next slide, Surajji. And similarly, it was during one of his all too famous evening stroll that he told me, that you work on prostaglandins in ischemic heart disease, because that was the time in 1976, the Nobel Prize was given to Sir John Wayne, and Dr. Udupa could immediately connect from that it might be having some relation with ischemic heart disease. He persuaded me to do some work on this and see the effect of terminalia obscura plant on ischemic heart disease. There are umpteen number of such shining stars who were there. His mentees, Professor V.P. Singh, Professor A.M. Rai, the founder, the principal of the Magadh Medical College, Professor T.M. Mohapatra, who had appeared, Professor Ajit Singh, who also came on the line, Professor K.K. Tripathi in medicine, Professor Shyam Sundar, whose chapter is there in Harrison, is spread all over country and abroad. And another name which comes to my mind, which for whom he was a mentee, was Professor Nayana Udupa. He is currently the research director at Indian University at Harvard, who has made a name and fame in the entire country in the field of pharmaceutics. Professor Nayana Udupa was his nephew, but nothing doing. He was very, very strict with him also, and he gave him all his qualities, and which Nayana Udupa has acquired. May I have next slide, please? So, was a dedicated researcher, very dedicated. Regular visit to surgical research lab, review in the library. He made me yoga in Easter disorder. I think he was the first to propagate yoga could be reviewed. When he started his experiments, making the rats to stand like this on the platform, people used to laugh. What Dr. Udupa is doing? And this is what the same people are doing now. And he established that yoga could be used in stress, and he has written a monograph, Yoga, Stress and its Management by Yoga in 1986. Another monograph, Medicinal Plant. People now are taking help of the medicinal plant. He worked till his last, from 1981 onwards, till in 1992 on rural health delivery using the medicinal plant. There is a book written by him. One of the terminally on which he goaded me to follow, I submitted my PhD and submitted this work for publication, and this was the publication in which he is also a co-author. This got the best research paper of the year in 1986. This Indian Research Award, presented by this terminally arena. This work, my attention next. My focus in terminally arena continues. My journey in terminally arena continues. This was published in Journal of Ethnopharmacology, one of the maximally cited paper by me on terminally arena. Next slide. In this COVID pandemic, even in this COVID pandemic, I have suggested, and we are publishing this paper in Pharmacology, Journal of Clinical Pharmacology and Pharmacotherapy 2021, can be used terminally arena in place of novel anticoagulant substances in post-COVID-19 cardiac conditions. Instead of no, can we use it? And our proposition is yes, we can. The credit goes to Dr. Udupa because he was the one who goaded me to work on this area. Next slide. Now, one of his pioneering contribution was to get recognized Sushruta as father of surgery by the Western academia, and in which he succeeded. The statue is installed in SS Hospital old building. Ground floor surgery block is a living example of vision and affection to ancient tradition. And true to Sushruta teaching, which I will elaborate within a second, Satatam Adhyanam Partantravalokanam. He used to say, continue your studies even in every day. And Partantravalokanam, please look at what is happening in the sister disciplines, what is happening in physics, what is happening in science, chemistry, what is happening in nuclear medicine, what is happening in nanotechnology. He used to tell, Satatam Adhyanam Partantravalokanam. Next slide. Next slide, please. Yes, this is the statue which many of us will remember this slide. And taking the model from this cue from this is a statue which has been installed in Australian Royal College of Surgery. Now this statue is there. So but it was Dr. Udupa who pioneered this. He not only pioneered put up this statue, he started a journal. Next slide. He started a journal which was quarterly journal of surgery, and its facing oil, its front page used to cover Sushruta. And second thing, one of the most important quality of an administrator is unwavering confidence in his team and in his students, which Dr. Udupa had. I will give you two examples. One example, his own nephew was admitted in a student's ward with high fever. Fever was not coming down. It was not coming down. And next day, he has his final examination, IT. BHU. Now, Udupa told me in the evening round, Dr. Dwivedi, he is my nephew. If his condition deteriorates, people will tell me at my place that he has not looked after his nephew. I have full confidence in you, but would you like to take any further consultation from a senior person? He has his own ways. I certainly sought advice from Professor Bajpayee. Next day, his fever came down. This was the amount of confidence which Professor Udupa had. Second episode, which I will never forget in my life, one of the very senior professor at IIT BHU, who was examined by me for his weakness, he was extremely pale due to bleeding piles. This particular professor was facing a disciplinary committee meeting on the same day by the very powerful vice chancellor like K.L. Srimali. I gave a certificate that he is not well. He is having pallor and he is having bleeding piles. On the basis of that certificate, he avoided appearing in disciplinary committee. Dr. Simali was very furious. He called Dr. Udupa and told, who is this man who has issued certificate? A medical officer. You should get him examined by a senior person. Dr. Udupa called me and told, are you very sure that the certificate which you have issued was correct? Sir, whatever you have taught me, or Dr. Professor Khanna, Professor Bajpayee has taught me, I have done the same thing. My findings are there. I have done rectal examination. I have written my finding. And Dr. Committee was constituted. They ratified my finding. Rest is a history. And from that, this was the amount of confidence which Professor Udupa has in his students. Next slide, please. Second thing, he was very humble, very transparent and simple, and his smile was fascinating. It was infectious. You can see this is the first batch. One can see Dr. Samesh was the head of the anatomy at that time, and you can see the charm, the infectious smile at his face, and the same is happening, reflecting in the voice and the face of the boys. Next. Again, this is another very important which I must share. Professor Udupa, Professor College Magazine, 1967-68. Professor Udupa, Professor Basu Malik, myself, Dr. Dung, Dr. Bhartan, and then Dr. Surendra Mishra, who later on became Professor Head of Neurology, Professor Dr. A.K. Dupa, and the other people, the tall man, Dr. Gaur, Dr. C.K. Gupta, Dr. Taneja, so many, Dr. Dave, all these people are there. But Dr. Udupa was very, very familiar. You can see the smile on his face. Next slide, please. So he helped several families. He had several families, several young people for their education, research, and job. He helped his entire family for that matter. And he was very humble and transparent, very able at administration. He made it sure that classes had to be taken as scheduled. He was absolutely a clean person. He was kind but ruthless in all matters of corruption. Professor Tuli sir is sitting on my left. He will vouch and say that he was the cleanest person which we have. Corruption, nothing, no private practice any kind. Many heads had rolled at that point of time on discharge only. So he was absolutely clean. Next. You can see, his was the time when galaxies used to come to the Institute of Medical Sciences. This is Mother Teresa, 19 March 1988. 80, the year when he was retiring. I can see Professor Hari Narayan, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Narasimhan, the Medical Superintendent. I'm also there in the back, and Professor Udupa sir is there, and Dr. Dhar, the tall man, the Chief Proctor of the University, Dr. H.S.K. Agrawal, Dr. V.P. Vijay Pal Singh sir, Professor HOD of the Hindi. Next, you can see another person, Sahnai Maestro, Bharatnam. One Bharat Ratna, another Bharat Ratna coming. He was a very familiar face in the cultural evenings of the Institute of Medical Sciences because he was a great fan of Professor K. Udupa. Next slide, please. You can see Kashi Naresh. You can see, this is Professor Udupa in 1991. He has retired in 1980, but you can see the infectious smile on his face. Professor C.V. Tripathi, the professor head of the forensic medicine, Professor Bajpayee, the then director of the institute, Kashi Naresh, Maharaja Vibhut Narayan Singh. He was a very usual visitor to institute rather than to the university. And of course, Professor R.P. Rastogi, the then vice chancellor. So these were the galaxies around, and many, even the Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri came to inaugurate eye hospital. Indiraji came to inaugurate children's hospital. Then she was information and broadcasting minister. And many spiritual leaders like Mata Anandamayi, I had seen her that sitting in the special ward and Dr. Udupa greeting him with his characteristic smile. Next slide. Mata Anandamayi. Yes, friends, now the last slide, which I'll tell you, we have a legacy of Professor Udupa. He was a combination of science and spirituality. We have to take forward his legacy. This is the new SS hospital, the new university hospital. This article had come in for January 2021 in Rajasthan, वैज्ञानिक दृष्टिकोण सर सुंदरलाल चिकित्सालय सेवा भाव और शोध की संपन्न विरासत. He always wanted there should be service and there should be research, and this is the legacy which we have to carry forward. Next slide. So IMS BHU is a living testimony of his par excellence dedication. Perseverance in the sense you see that he traveled from Kodattur, his village town, to Madras to Kashi to Kota, Mumbai to USA, again back to Mandi again to USA, then Canada, then back to Shimla, back to Kashi, and Kashi became his Mukti Dham. So, living testimony of his par excellence, dedication, perseverance, vision, and honesty, and towards healing science and research. Let us take forward his work ethics, his values, his aspirations, further not only at IMS BHU only, but at other places too, wherever we are posted. KNU still rules our heart, mind, and soul. For what we are today in health sciences, may I finish with these two lines? That physical life persona no more. That physical life persona no more. The spiritual soul KNU in us. The spiritual soul KNU in us sparks forever. A real coalescence. Emerge. Thank you very much. And with this, long live KNU legacy. Long live IMS BHU, and Jai Hind. And thank you very much. Printed material. Pen drive. These are all my collections. Yes.
I thank you, sir, for your excellent oration. It was a pleasure to hear you, a ride through the golden days of the Institute. And I really hope that this will provide inspiration and motivation to the present generation of the Institute. We would like to display the oration plaque, which we will be presenting to sir. We will send all these plaques by post to our respective speakers after this event. This is the oration plaque for Sir. Now I take the privilege of introducing the third speaker in this oration series, Professor Abhimanyu Kumar. He is presently working as Vice Chancellor, Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan Rajasthan Ayurveda University, Jodhpur, and has also served Uttarakhand Ayurveda University, Dehradun. He is the founder director of All India Institute of Ayurveda, New Delhi, who made the institute fully functional with many accredited laboratories and international and national collaborations. He is member and Ayurveda expert in various national and international universities, institutes, and organizations. He has worked as member secretary of several committees for Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, including the Planning Commission. He has been involved in academic, clinical, and research activities for the last 38 years in various capacities and has authored several books and research papers. He has also served as Director General in charge of Central Council for Research in Ayurvedic Sciences, New Delhi, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India. To add, he has also accompanied as technical expert the Honorable Minister of Ayush and Secretary Ministry of Ayush to World Health Organization at the headquarters in Geneva for international collaborations. We welcome you, sir, for your oration, Integrative Medicine, a vision of Professor K.N. Udupa is now future of medicine. Sir, would you like to deliver the oration live or should we play the recorded version?
Thank you very much. And because right now I'm traveling, so my connectivity is not proper. I think it would be nice to play the video recorded by me just last night. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Sorry for the inconvenience. Esteemed Speaker of Centenary Oration, Professor K.N. Udupa, Professor S.M. Tuliji, Dr. Sridhar Dwivedi ji, Director of IMS, Professor B.R. Mittalji, Professor S.K. Singh, Dean Faculty of Modern Medicine, Professor P.P. Singh, Dean Faculty of Ayurveda, Professor Vinay Kumar Srivastav, Dean Faculty of Dental Sciences, Professor Manoj Pandey, Chairman, Institute Functions Committee, and all learned faculty members and dear students of IMS BHU. I am really very much thankful to the Director IMS and Organizing Committee for giving me such a great opportunity to express my views on the occasion of centenary oration of such a great personality who added a golden chapter in the history of Varanasi University. Professor Udupa left us his strong imprint in three great sciences, Ayurveda, modern medicine, and yoga. As I know, he is the first person in the country who thought over integration of ancient and modern medical sciences. And he converted his vision of integrative medicine into a live model under the umbrella of this great university. I am really very fortunate to get the opportunity to work under his superb guidance and learn the ABCD of science and art of this integrative approach of patient care. He also proved that how successfully a model of integrative medicine challenges of this century. That is not simply about the discovering new drugs, therapies, and surgical techniques, but they includes addressing basic determinants of the health, like nutrition, lifestyle, environmental factors, genetics, and access to affordable healthcare. It also includes the need to change the mindset from hospital to drug-based healthcare to new strategy, which focus on disease prevention and health protection. This integrative medicine is an approach to integrate healthcare that keeps the patient on main focus and addresses the whole range of physical, emotional, mental, social, spiritual, and environmental influences affecting the health of a person. Integrative medicine, it prepares a personal strategy which adheres to the personal uniqueness, needs, and circumstances of the patient. It uses the most appropriate intervention from various available systems of healthcare to cure the diseases and get people optimal health. Today, we are having modern medicine and a series of IU system of medicine. In our country, Ayurveda and Yoga, these are two ancient sciences to be fit as a strongest partner with conventional medicine in the format of integrative medicine. In the treatment process, through integrative medicine, patient and physician both are equally participants. During the process of treatment, all the factors affecting health, welfare, and disease, they are kept in mind, including body, mind, soul, and the community. So health provider uses all healing systems to facilitate the spontaneous treatment response of the body. Integrative medicine allows natural and less invasive but effective interventions to be used wherever possible. It at one hand follow the concept of treatment, but the more focus is over promotion of health and prevention of illness. So this perfectly fits with the objective of Ayurveda, which first consider prevention and promotion of health, then the treatment. Though integrative approach here is personalized to best address the individual's unique conditions, needs, and circumstances. Practitioners of integrative medicine exemplify its principles and commit themselves to self-exploration and self. Personalized approach for any person is the uniqueness of Ayurveda and well established with the concept of Prakriti. Every person is having unique Ayurveda body and mind constitution that is known as Prakriti and is taken into consideration for planning of better lifestyle and disease management. Integrative medicine is basically it is healing oriented. So the focus of integrated medicine with Ayurveda is about welfare, vitality, and treatment rather than concentrating on disease itself. It is actually it starts with the assumption that there is a physical equilibrium that is obstructed and leads to manifestation of disease. By achieving the natural state of balance, this balance can be restored and health can be promoted. The integrative medicine is having focus, more focus on mind, body, and spirit. Usually, what happens when the patients who have many symptoms affecting their many organ systems, and they used to visit to various specialists for their every problem. It creates a lot of confusion in the mind of patient, resulting in inappropriate treatment. It also costs much to the patient. Integrative medicine focuses on how different symptoms can be linked to treat individuals' symptoms and how to find root causes. So focus is more on the fact that how the balance is being restored. It has more emphasis on therapeutic relationship of doctor and patient, especially in the management of chronic diseases. Attention is given to have good interaction with patient and to have a clear status of disease and treatment to know where they are at this time. While addressing obstacles in lifestyle changes and treatment, there is high probability of success with the recommended approach. Personalized approach of treatment in integrative medicine. Actually, in integrated treatment scheme, that recommendations can vary according to the unique situation of each person. Ayurveda very clearly identifies uniqueness of every individual. Therefore, prepare treatment plans considering individual needs. To develop research-based evidences for the safety and efficacy of the treatment methods from other system of medicine like Ayurveda, yoga, the experts often check the literature by using scientific methods to evaluate treatment methods of these systems. Integrated clinical research evaluations are highly personalized. Patients are asked about everything from environmental exposure to personal relationship while determining the healthy and disease status of a patient. In this approach, there is a use of various compatible therapies. So combining conventional allopathic treatment options with the treatment of Ayurveda, yoga, and meditation. So a treatment plan is developed with uses non-invasive and cost-effective treatment. Getting a sense of well-being is particularly important in case where treatment is not always possible. There are so many diseases where the treatment is not possible or it is difficult. Most of the integrated expert determine the appropriate treatment after ascertaining their scientific validation. Most of the time, taking modern medicine and aiding some Ayurveda therapies, especially Panchkarma, offers a good combination and potentiate the effect of modern medicine with the added advantage of minimizing the side effects of modern medicine. So every system of medicine is having some advantages with some of their limitations. Human being is the best example of nature's creation, which in spite of its complexity in structure and function, works in a very smooth way. Therefore, all the best of modern medicine, Ayurveda, yoga may be taken together to serve the human being for maintaining health in its best form. Integrative medicine incorporating Ayurveda treatment has been found most effective in various chronic physical health problems, along with various psychological and psychiatric disorders. Pain is the most common health issue, and most of us experience it many times in our life, especially chronic pain, musculoskeletal pain, joint pains, headaches. These are some common type of pain, very effectively managed by this integrative approach of Ayurvedic Panchkarma therapies aid a lot for the relief of especially chronic pain. Gastrointestinal conditions like irritable bowel syndromes, chronic constipation, hyperacidity, these are some problematic to treat with the conventional medicine alone. But by adding some Ayurveda treatment protocol, it provides to be a very effective method of treatment. Other examples are just like the women's health issues like infertility, nausea and vomiting in pregnancy, pre-post menopausal conditions. These are commonly treated with hormonal therapy. But what happens, some women avoid or discontinue due to some negative hormonal impact. Certain Ayurveda approaches or procedures like Uttarbasti, along with the Ayurveda medicines and some dietary considerations, provides highly added advantage with conventional treatment. In children who are suffering from conditions like cerebral palsy, muscular dystrophy, ADHD, autism, they need support from Ayurveda to get good improvement. Various behavior disorders are best managed by integrative approach of treatment. Good effect had been demonstrated in several studies that conditions like depression, anxiety, stress-related neurological problems, fatigue are best treated with integrative treatment methods by adding Ayurveda treatment, therapies, and yoga. Scientific studies very well support that side effect of chemotherapy are minimized by the use of Ayurvedic drugs. Palliative cancer care can be done in a best way by adding Ayurveda approach and meditation. Recently, during 2 waves of COVID-19, integrative approach of management has shown added advantages during recovery and handling post-COVID complications. However, true success and test of such integrative approach will remain in the mutual trust and ability to recognize, respect, and maintain identities, philosophies, foundations, methodologies, and strength intact while building a sufficient evidence base for integrating respective systems. The work of wisdom by Professor K. Udupa must inspire us to create a trusted integrative system based on mutual trust. I am sure that this great university will take a lead to make it happen with the vision of Sarve Santu Niramaya. With these words, I express my thanks to all of you. Namaskar.
Thank you very much, sir, for your inspiring oration. Sir, would you like to connect live and bless us with few words of wisdom? Thank you, sir. I request the team to display the oration to respected Professor Abhimanyu Kumar, sir, as a mark of respect. Thank you so much. Now I take a privilege to request Professor Manoj Pandey sir to extend vote of thanks.
A very good evening. It's my pleasant duty to extend the vote of thanks. I would like to thank our Vice Chancellor, Acting Vice Chancellor and Rector, and my guide, Professor V.K. Shukla, for giving us this opportunity to host and giving his valuable time spending with us, sharing the memories of Professor K. Udupa with us. My thanks to our Director, Professor B.R. Mittal, for being with us today and blessing us. My thanks to Dean Modern Medicine, Dr. S.K. Singh, with whom probably the team has interacted the maximum. And thank you, sir, for your time and your blessings. Dean Ayurveda, Dean Research, and Dean Dental, thank you for gracing the occasion and being with us today in this meeting. One of the most important thing in oration is the orators. So my thanks to Professor S.M. Tuli, former director and my teacher, Dr. Sridhar Dwivedi and Dr. Abhimanyu Kumar, for joining us online and delivering the orations. My thanks also extends to all my former directors and my teachers sitting in the hall, Professor T.M. Mahapatra, Dr. R.G. Singh, Dr. K.K. Tripathi, Dr. V.P. Singh, Professor N.N. Khanna, Chudamani ma'am, and those who are joined us from a link online. My heartfelt thanks to all of you for your cooperation and for being with us and sharing all your lovely experiences and sharing the past of IMS with us. No function can be organized by an individual, so this is also a team effort. So my thank also extend to all the members of functions committee. I'm going to name them, and they are not in a particular order. Dr. Naresh, Dr. V.N. Mishra, Dr. Kishore, Dr. Manoj, Dr. Shivji, Dr. Vaibhav, Dr. Kiran, Dr. Tuhina, Dr. Poonam, and Dr. Lalit. All of them have worked tirelessly, especially in the last 1 week, to have this function come through. I would also like to thank the Deputy Registrar, Mr. Sanjay Yadav, the people of the Directorate, especially Lakshmi ji, the people of the Dean's office, especially Nagendra ji, the people in the security, cleaning staff, the caterers, the decorators, and all those who work hard to maintain this venue. Special thanks to people from the computer center, Mr. Amit and Mr. Kunal, who had been working with us, making this program live, being shared in a hybrid mode, and their work is fantastic. Then people from my department, Mr. Siddiqui, and from the office, Mr. Uday, who has been cooperative and having this program. And in the last, I would like to thank the members of the press and media, all the people who are sitting in the hall, my colleagues, the head of the departments and my colleagues, and those who have joined us from the link. Thank you, everybody, for being here and making this event a wonderful one. Thank you. Shall we all rise for national anthem, please?
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे